Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Bathrobe Chat with Steve the Missionary. It is Monday, March 18th, and I finally have recovered from my brother's wedding. That was a party. And like when you're part of the family, the wedding is more than just the one day. There's all the prep, and then there's the rehearsal dinner, and multiple days of party, family that had come in from out of town. It was tons of fun, and Sunday I did a whole lot of nothing. So welcome back. I missed last week because I was out of town doing that road trip that turned into my road trip video. Please feel free to comment, and I will respond to what you're commenting. Please feel free to move this episode any direction you like. I'm going to be talking about this wedding. There were probably things in the news that happened or things that I could react to, but I don't care because something cool happened in my family, and that's what I'm going to talk about. I don't know. Whenever I go to someone's wedding, I get a lot of ideas and go like, yes, that was good. Ooh, yeah, that was less good. And so now today I'm actually written them down right here on my notebook, and I'm going to read them to you like a starry-eyed 9-year-old girl. I'm going to read to you all of the ideas for Steve's dream wedding. This is the channel today. If you have any critiques of what I'm saying, if you want to add your own ideas, please feel free. This is going to be a lot of fun. All right, number one. When I get married, I'm gonna have an extra long Catholic ceremony. Just if there's an option to do a shorter prayer or a longer prayer, longer prayer. If there's an option to do if there's an option to sing or to say something, we're going to sing it. Just everything. It's going to be kind of painful for anyone that hasn't been to a Catholic wedding before. Just extremely long. I had a friend who that's what they did. They did the extra long, over the top Catholic ceremony, but they had a lot of non-Catholic friends. So that what they did was, in like their little program on the back, they made like a word search and a crossword puzzle for all the non-Catholics, and they were like, the town where the couple met, and then you had to like find it, or you had to. I'm like, that's a decent idea. I like that. That's so smart. So, I might accommodate people who have never been to a Catholic ceremony before, but also like I might not, just for the hell of it. That sounds like fun too. An extra long Catholic ceremony done by people who know what they're doing. Number two, when you walk into my wedding, you will pick a side. Um, none of this hippie stuff. The pick a seat, not a side. No, you're there. You're sitting on the bride's side or the groom's side for two reasons. One, the point of a wedding is that you're taking two separate things and making them one. And that whole thing doesn't happen unless they're separate in the first place. So there's a groom side and there's a bride side, and you start there and you end together. The seating during dinner is going to be all kinds of mixed up, just so I can laugh at you guys. Also, from what I can tell from just observing my friends' marriages from outside, marriage is first and foremost a competition between two people, and the only time you find out who wins is after you die. So, but you want to start off on a good foot and make sure that you have the most guests to the wedding, that the most people actually showed up to the ceremony. And how are you going to keep a tally if people are picking seats and they aren't picking a side? So pick a seat when you come to my wedding. That's all I'm going to say. And also, I'm going to have the absolute largest wedding possible. My brother and my brand new sister-in-law, they picked a small wedding, which was awesome, and I absolutely loved it. And they had a bunch of reasons for it, and it ended up being this awesome, great wedding with a beautiful reception right in our own backyard because we could all fit. And that's great, but that's not what I'm going to do. It's going to be like, I'm going to rent out park and just like fill it with everyone I've ever met, and ta-da. I think that's or be extremely rich and rent a building, but it'll probably be a park because I will never get extremely rich, especially doing YouTube. And let's see. Oh yeah, but there'll be 1,000 people there, but the only people giving speeches will be immediate family. And I'm specifically saying this because I have friends in college who have been saying forever that they're going to give speeches at my wedding. Heck no. Like, that's never going to happen. You are not to give a speech at my wedding if you are not an immediate family member of mine or of the bride. Um, yeah. Another dash is there will be a bride. Whatever. Um, this is a compliment to my friends Kat and Adam. Actually, years ago they got married. They're now a kid, and their the music to walk down the aisle to was like a litany of the saints. They were invoking the saints within the whole package of the ceremony, and that is primo. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna I'm gonna copy that in some way, shape, or form when I get married. Somewhere in the whole thing is gonna be invoking the saints, because oh my gosh, I know I'll need help to be a decent husband. So please, I'll take all the prayers I can get from upstairs. Oh my gosh, yeah, I will invoke the saints at my wedding. Another thing I'm going to steal from another friend's wedding is pulled pork. A pulled pork reception. It was great. It was a buffet for pulled pork sandwiches, because honestly, what more do you need? What's more important, the pulled pork or the music? It's the music. And so I'm not worried about the food. It's going to be simple, and there's going to be a lot of it. Also, a lot of alcohol. If you are an alcoholic, don't drink. If you can handle yourself, drink plenty. I'm going to make sure to have too much alcohol. It's going to be great when you and I'm going to do my best to like have the party be as long as possible, like a start at noon and end at midnight party. So that comes to the question, like, how do you hire a DJ that will play for you that long? Well, you don't. You hire a DJ for the last part of it, and then before that, you like hire a band or something, and that way, you could do all those things, and you spend all the money on the music. Every last dime is going to be spent on the music, because that is clearly the most important part of a wedding and a marriage. If you didn't know that, now you do. Music is the most important part of a wedding and of a marriage. And on top of that, so like a DJ will happen later, and if there's a DJ or an MC of any kind, that DJ will talk as little as possible. I don't want any DJ that's really good at pumping the crowd up. I don't want a DJ that takes a really long time to introduce people. I don't want to be that even tries to pump up the crowd. It's like, I need you to give a good intro when they walk in. No, like no one knows you. Like, okay, if it was someone that everyone knew or like a member of the family that was being the MC, that I get. But no, if you're a stranger, talk as little as possible. That your job is to not be noticed. And that's wow, I'm feeling really music. DJs are great. But oh my gosh, please don't talk at other people's weddings. We music that we will play. We will have an amount of country music. Probably not during the dancing, but there will definitely be that. One of my favorite things about my brother's wedding was that during dinner there was just like this slew of 90s country, and it was glorious, and I thoroughly loved it. It brought joy to my heart, and we were singing along. And during dinner, we're like, we have beer in our hands and we're singing along to like old country songs. It was phenomenal. I absolutely love it. And it's great when you like are singing a song that your cousin also knows, and you didn't know that this was a part of both of your past, but here we are. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And also, a requirement is a whole entire set of salsa music. I won't marry someone if she can't dance salsa music, and so I'm not going to have salsa music be vacant from my wedding. There will be a lot of this kind of music and that kind of dancing, because it's kind of the best. So there you go. If you're going to come to my wedding, you should learn a little bit about salsa. There will be other kinds of music you can dance to too. Modern pop and hip hop, things you can really get down with, but there will not be any music that tells you how to dance. That was a rule at this wedding we just went to, and that's a rule that I will stick to forever. Like, do as little as possible, hopefully zero music where the song tells you how to dance. I don't want that. I don't want the funky chicken dance. I don't want the Macarena. I don't want the Cupid shuffle. I don't want any of that. Maybe the wobble, but not if no one knows the wobble, which was the case on Saturday, which was kind of funny. I was like, are they actually doing the wobble there? No, but they played it, so that was a lot of fun. But no, the rule is if there's a song that has a specific line dance attached to it, we're not doing it. None of us know how to creatively line dance anyway, so just don't. That's what's gonna go. Songs that tell you how to dance are out. A general opinion of mine, which is both a moral opinion and like a, I don't know, a etiquette opinion, is don't move in together before you get married. This is one based on a Christian idea of what marriage is, and this is two coming from the idea that like if you already live together, then the marriage, the wedding itself, like has no drama to it. Like there's nothing like new that's happening tomorrow. Like tomorrow, you guys are moving in together, and today we're gonna have a party about it. And then if you already live together, it's like you live together, and now we're gonna have a party just cause. Like, might as well just be like a Memorial Day barbecue or something. Which I mean, I'm not against those, but way less, drama. And I think that goes back to what I was saying about why I want to have an extremely long Catholic wedding, which is hilarious after my Friday video about extremely short Catholic weddings. And extremely short Catholic weddings are still long when you're measuring it against other like secular or a lot of Protestant weddings, where it's like the most dramatic thing is the walking down the aisle. And excuse me, the reason I say that is because, especially in the ceremony part, you're trying to express an extremely dramatic thing. Like there is an enormity of what's about to happen. There are two people that are in love, and love itself is the is the inspiration to so much of how we create and think and emote and beautiful art and artifice of us. Like people have talked ad nauseum forever about love. And then on top of that, there is the blessing of God, the declaration of that love in front of other people, and the promises that love inspires in front of other people, and that declaration of that love and the promises it expires in front of God, and the blessing that God brings on it. And even at an extremely simple Catholic wedding, you're reading big chunks out of the Bible. Like the readings for weddings are not short. You're reading big and important chunks out of the Bible. And Rebecca's right. I went to her bestie had an extraordinary form solemn high mass. Go big or go home. But it was a 40-minute homily. Yeah, don't do that, please. But there's this enormity of what's going on, and the ceremony should reflect that in what we're saying and how things are blessed and what things are said. And I see that a lot of times in weddings that are not constructed, based on an old tradition. That there is this beautiful romantic element where people spend most of the ceremony looking deep into each other's eyes, and it's lovely. And so the love between the two people is celebrated, but the love between two people is not placed in this enormous context, which is so sad because especially if you're poor, the enormous context, it shouldn't be robbed from you. And if you're rich, you can buy musicians and a decorated place to get married in. But it was, but if you're poor and someone takes that from you, that was your opportunity. A simple wedding costs almost nothing. My brother had to pay the normal amount that specific church does for the day, but like they didn't decorate too much. They wore a simple dress and the suit that he already owned, and I played the music for it. So a simple wedding, but all the prayers were the same. The readings were the same. Like the care and the enormity of the situation, the sacramentality was the same. How can you ditch that it always seems weird to me. Please don't ditch that and make your liturgical decisions reflect that. And it's kind of weird. One of the liturgical decisions is don't move in together before you get married, because otherwise you skipped the enormous part, and now you're just throwing a party in the middle of your time together as opposed to at the beginning of your time together. So that's what I have to say about that. Because I've also been to the really short wedding where you're like, you just sat down and then you stand back up and like, oh, I guess it's over. I guess we're gonna drink now, which I'm not against. But that's it's a vibe that I don't want at my wedding. Put it that way. Let's see, where am I? Don't move into each other. Yeah, it's going to be a huge wedding. Going to be possibly outside, and every priest that I've ever met is invited to celebrate and party with us after. So that includes actually Father Alex, whose picture I'm looking at right now because I was at his ordination last year, and then next to him is David, who will be ordained next year. And so I'm just trying to rack up priest friends so that I have a really good showing at my wedding. I want to feel like a big shot in ecclesiastical ways, in friendship ways, in competing against my own bride ways. That's the point of marriage, not weddings, marriage, and that's what I have to see. So you guys tell me, am I on the right track for a good life, if these are my thought processes? What do you think? Please comment, let me know. I welcome critique. So those of you who don't know, this is going to be an excellent week on the podcast. The first thing is tomorrow is St. Joseph's feast day, a huge day for Italians and people named Joe, which is kind of an overlapping Venn diagram, but hello there, Joe. Look at you. It's your feast day tomorrow, and I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm either going to talk about Italians, people named Joe, or communism. But I might save that for a different St. Joseph feast day. So there's that. Also, the Jewish holiday of Purim is this week, which it basically involves drinking. Nowadays, that's the point of their holiday nowadays, which I love. And we'll talk about that. And this weekend is the Archdiocese of Los Angeles Religious Education Congress. I should have bought a ticket, so we'll see what happens. But you will definitely hear my reactions either right here on Bathrobe Chat next week, or moment of if I take my camera down to Anaheim. Fun fact for people who don't know, the Archdiocese of Los Angeles Religious Education Congress happens physically in the Diocese of Orange, because that's where the bigger and cheaper convention center is, across the street from Disneyland. So now you know, anyone who is from out of town. Those are the three things this week's Purim, St. Joseph's Day, and Religious Education Congress. One final reminder to go to Patreon. I have established a number of rules for Lent at the beginning on Ash Wednesday, and I have broken a lot of them in the last week. So I am going to get various punishments and challenges, but they will only be recommended from members of my Patreon page. So go to patreon.com/SteveTM, pick a level at which you want to donate to the cause, and you too can be a member of Steve the Missionary's Patreon page. And you too can vote and suggest for ways that I am to be punished, and various challenges that I should do for Lent, because I done bad things last week and didn't post when I promised I would, and that you deserve better than that. So, and I promise to do better. This week is going to be a ton of fun. I cannot wait for everyone to see the videos, react to them, talk about cool holidays, and talk about being good Christians, because there is a full community happening on the internet, and the gospel needs to be a part of that conversation. All right, the vlog has ended. Go in peace.